We're here today with Tyler Dunn, head coach of Nichols College. Uh, Thank you so much for your time and for adding valuable information for those international students that will be watching this. And thanks.
All right. I'm happy to be here.
And just before we start, can you explain a bit your journey, how you got to be a head coach of
Um,
esports?
yep. So I graduated from the same institution that I work at, Nichols College, in 2022. I got hired in the IT department as a grad assistant, and they were looking for a part-time head coach. I had availability and kind of fell into it. I knew there had been some issues with when the last coach departed. I have a background in management, so I was like, take on this challenge, see what I can do, see what I can do to help grow the program, and I've been at it now for a year. I just finished a new capital project to bring in new PCs, expand the program. I've added two new programs so far since I've been here: Counter Strike and now Madden, starting this fall. And my goal is to have Valorant before next fall. So that's been my journey into it.
That's great. And the new facilities, can you explain what is your plan
So
for
long-term goal is to move out of our current location in the student center into the full
Mhm.
athletic center and have
Yeah.
a 15 to 30 station room with a full editing suite in the back for live streaming all the matches. That's the goal. Right now, we're in a space in the student center. We have 6 PCs currently. As of Friday, I'll have 3 more, hopefully, if they arrive on time. And we're taking our space, reorganizing it again. So we'll have 4 systems on one wall, 4 systems on the other wall, and then one lone desk in the middle to kind of be the flex, depending on which team's playing where. But we'll have a full 9 systems in the room. And then that space is open 24/7 with ID card access. Um, Players, as long as they have a hard drive, can play any game they want on them. They just can't install the games on the physical hard drives. But it's an open space for practices. It's usually packed between about 3 p.m. local time to about midnight. But other times than that, it's open for people that want to come in and play maybe closer to their time back home or anything kind of similar to that.
That's great, Tyler. And do you have any students helping you in the non-competitive aspect, like student
Yes.
positions? Yeah.
I have 2 student managers, Jabari and Damon, and they kind of act as my liaisons for certain projects. Because like I said, I'm part time, so for me, maintaining the space, keeping the systems up to date, that kind of stuff, I have my player managers doing. Being a first contact for recruiting, so they have the same login I have to the recruiting software. They're kind of like singling people out, people that we like, people that kind of meet the culture that we're trying to have on our team. Once
Hmm.
they identify that person or that person reaches out to us, they send them over to me, and then I start the ball with admissions, getting their profile set up, and then we can start communicating from there. Um, and then I have a third player manager, Gabe, who handles most of our live streaming between the two of us. So if I can't host a match or be commentating on the stream, he'll do most of the work on production. He also handles the back end, making graphics and all that. And then I have a couple of team captains that kind of help with social media, doing all of our posts, our game day our match day posts, our win loss posts, our player announcements, any updates we have. So we do have a lot of player engagement in actually administering the team, besides myself, and we also have a volunteer coach for Overwatch.
That's great. And are the students that have staff positions the ones hiding the students? Let's say if they may have trouble or need guidance in handling academics and practice in competition, or is it you, or is it the student staff that
So
would? Yeah.
starting this year, we're going to have a mandatory study hall where the whole team, player
Yeah.
managers included, all come together in the library for an hour and a half and bang out homework together. We also have a full free tutoring service on campus outside my office. So I always encourage students to go there. It's a peer tutoring system. So they come in, they make an appointment, and they can get tutoring for someone who's already taken the class with the same professor and scored above an A in that class. So we really have that. We don't have like the internal staff that do it, but we really rely on those external resources that we have on campus to provide that academic support. And I'm always, I was a student at Nichols, so anytime I can help the students, I do help, specifically with economics, because I also teach economics here at the college. But in general, I relay people to our academic center for excellence and support.
That's well. It's great that you have all this infrastructure for academics and for the mental well-being part. Do you have like counselors if
Yeah, we
they
have
okay,
three full-time counselors
okay,
that are on campus during bankers hours, so 9 to 5. And then we also have a 24-hour hotline that you can call anytime. Not if you're in crisis, but you just need someone to talk to. We have that 24-hour support line for all of our students.
that's great. That's great. And um, this is a question that sometimes the parents ask me, like in the physical exercise and nutrition part, do you guide the students into like healthy habits,
We try to
or
as a
depending
team.
on
We do have a sports nutritionist on campus
this
that will
one?
help with that, and our strength and conditioning coach is on the food council, so it's the body that kind of oversees what meals are offered every day. But in general, as a team, we kind of just do team physical activities, and it's kind of captain's led, not really led through me because I'm kind of all over the place with the program
Mhm.
in terms of being there day to day. So I don't oversee that, but we have resources on campus for the students that are health conscious.
And in terms of like bonding activities, like what are some activities that the team
Um,
does
we it
together?
kind of depends on what people are interested in. Like right now, we have a Dungeons and Dragons league that's been going on since last spring. A lot of us will have a hard drive that we bring into the esports room, and we'll have like right now there's four of us playing Baldur's Gate 3 that just came out, so we're doing like play through that myself and a couple of the other players. On Sundays we have Sussy Sundays, and we all play Among Us. We'll go out, we'll throw a football, kick a soccer ball, anything like that. Just kind of get outside, especially during the early fall and late spring when it's not winter in New England. We'll all go to like last year we had the basketball our basketball team made it to the state championship or the regional championship rather. So we all went down as a team, stood together and cheered on the basketball team. We do our 48-hour live streams and we'll do all kinds of stuff together. We all go to LAN, so if you're on the Rocket League team, your two other teammates, and maybe one of the other Rocket League rosters will all go to LAN together. My policy is, as of now, that every varsity roster goes to a LAN at least once per year, if we can find the budget for it. Right now, we're going to our first one in Pennsylvania on the 26th. That'll kind of be our pilot to see how it goes, and then I'm hoping to do another couple one in November and maybe one in February and April for other Rocket League roster, Overwatch, and Counter Strike.
Yeah, that's amazing because like usually like students, that want to get this, this campus life and they go to the state to study when this are looking for also this in-person events,
Hmm.
that's where you
Right.
make memories and where you get the best
Right.
experience.
I last year one of the our best team activity went was we got offered to play our semifinal match at a LAN center against the other team because our colleges were maybe a half hour apart, and then there's a city in between us that has a LAN center. We were able to go there, not through the league or anything, but just our two schools coming together to play the LAN match and give that opportunity to the students. And they had like a bar, they had pizza, they had other computers that students could use. They had this really like open and environment where our two teams could come together and kind of play play the match, watch the map, hype each other up, and really do a lot to make that a rewarding experience.
That's great. That's great. And on your opinion and experience, like what are the skills that you're hoping to transfer to the students and
Um,
developing them to when they graduate and go to a workforce or whatever path they choose?
yeah. So
Those-
we kind of in our esports room we have a whiteboard on wheels, and we have like our program goals, like what we want to accomplish as a team, which are like national prominence, um, teamwork, and professionalism. Like that's what we're trying to work together as a team on. But we also have like our individual values, which are mental toughness, resilience, teamwork and dedication, and self improvement. So we're trying to teach kids, that irregardless what's happening in the game, like if you can persevere through a rugged season where we're losing, we're performing at our best, but we're just up against teams that out caliber us. You know, take every loss, learn from it, grow, develop. Because you're not always going to win, and it's what do you do when you lose, and how do you come back from that and be a better player. And that's kind of what we're really trying to drive home is you're gonna take body blows. How do you come back from it? And how do you be successful from those body blows? And that's the big thing that we're trying to instill with our program.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And like more from skills, like let's move to like work opportunities. Like does Nichols College in general or the esports program maybe like for the students that want to get into the esports sector or just in the workforce in the degree they study, like how does the
So
program on Nichols College help
so
students?
every student at Nichols College is required to do a 120-hour internship
Okay.
to graduate. So if you don't do an internship, you're not graduating. So to that effect, there's a lot of on-campus internship opportunities, but we really encourage external internship opportunities. On my team, I have a policy with my players if they need an internship and they want to be like a player manager or something like that, I will work with their department chair to carve out what they need to do as an intern, to get that credit, but also have a rewarding work experience and develop skills in various parts. So like I have social media, and we're posting a social media intern. I have my two player managers that kind of help with day to day, keeping the room, maintaining the room schedule, all that kind of scheduling stuff that I really don't want to deal with, because it can get kind of, you know, oh, my roster wants to practice here, but I booked a scrim here, and how to resolve that. I don't want to be in the middle of that as the coach. I kind of want to be like, you guys, I have player managers kind of sort that stuff out. Um, but I know we have students that have worked at Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan Chase, Fidelity, a couple of the big four accounting firms here in the states. We have people that work for the Red Sox, the Bruins, the Celtics, the Patriots, all these, New England teams. So if you want to go into that realm, we have students that go into marketing, go into finance, real estate, and we have all those opportunities. And Nichols has a very strong alumni network where if we have a whole career and professional development center that will help you find a job outside even
Mhm.
after you graduate. And they're very good about connecting students with potential internships or employers after they graduate.
That's great. And for are there any students in your program that would be interested in going to esports sector, or is usually like esports is a way to
Um,
compete and
I
have
have a couple. I
a
mean, I
good
have a couple that are looking to be content creators or go professional, but I have a lot of them that are they want to be coaches. I've got a couple. I've got a person on my team that wants to be a financier. And Rocket League's very much their hobby. I've got players that are general business that just want to own their own company. So we have a very wide, diverse range of talent. Um, and the ones that do want to go into esports tend to be the most involved with the program, and those that are, it's very much a hobby for them, kind of aren't involved in the team administration, but are very active in actually competing.
hmm Okay, that's great. And how would be like a day to day of a student
Day to
player,
day.
like uh,
I'll,
from
I'll use I'll use
class
one
to
of my Rocket
practice?
League. I'll use a Rocket
Yeah,
League player.
yeah.
So
Okay.
Rocket League players tend to have classes between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. So that's your class, breakfast and lunchtime. I kind of I don't get involved with that. that is your time to focus on academics. After 4:30, on a Monday, we have practice from 4:30 to 7, and then we go right into a match at 7 o'clock, best of five. Tuesdays usually are for VODing. We'll go over the last matches we played. Plus, we'll look at the VODs maybe from the team we're about to play and see what our strategy is going to be in. Wednesday, we'll have an out of room practice, so you'll practice from your dorm. Come in at 8, and we'll have a joint play with the Overwatch team and Rocket League playing at the same time, usually versus other schools. You'll have Thursdays is a day off. Um, Fridays is another day off from practicing, and then we have practice Saturday and Sunday for Rocket League. Overwatch practices Tuesday and Thursday, and VODs on Wednesday. Counter Strike practices Thursday and Friday, and VODs on Wednesday. So it kind of just depends. Every team practices 3 times a week, twice in the room, once outside the room, which is the VOD, and then they compete at least twice a week. And then we also require a minimum of 10 hours outside of team practice to work on individual skills. So, other teams have strength and conditioning and sports medicine and lift that they do. We kind of replace that with that 10 hours a week of individual practice play. That kind of makes up that difference where we don't have that traditional like lift and strength and conditioning. We have, developing your internal skills, and we kind of do that on an individual basis so it doesn't impact your academics.
That's great. And like just to wrap this talk up, like how do you see your program in 2 years?
In 2 years,
What do you
if we can get
want
if
to
we can
achieve?
get the if we can get the funding, I see us down in the athletic center with a big, a big space that we can have, you know, 30 people in the room practicing at any time. That's the goal. Short term, we're gonna go into CRL into College Rocket League this fall.
Hmm.
We're gonna do well in it, and then we're gonna take the lessons from that, and we're gonna start applying that to Overwatch, to Counter Strike, to Valorant, and really start developing out those programs where you can come to Nichols College and we are a premier team, but we also have it developed under JV where if you're not there yet to be a full varsity player, at the heights of collegiate esports, we have a program at the bottom where you can work with those players that are there, gain those skills. So in 2 to 3 years, when those players at the top graduate, you're getting slotted into a varsity slot. And that's
Okay,
our program's mission is to kind of take people that maybe aren't who are looking for a junior varsity program and grow into varsity, but also how offer that full varsity experience for players that are there and ready to compete at that level.
that's great, Tyler. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we'll stay in touch for sure.